Hey there, it's Erin here at Readwise again. Now that you've familiarized yourself with the basics of using Reader, let me help you find your ideal library configuration based on the way your brain works best. As a refresher, your library is where all of the documents you've curated for yourself live inside of Reader. Your library is further divided into several sublocations, such as Inbox, Later, and Archive by default, and we've also created a couple other configurations to suit your reading preferences, which I'm going to show you in this video. The first and default library configuration is what we call Triage. If you're a fan of getting things done and various productivity-oriented methods, this will probably resonate the most with you. This configuration consists of Inbox, Later, and Archive. This set of locations reframes content overload by enabling you to consistently hit Inbox 0. You do this by periodically jumping into your inbox and processing each item one by one. You can read or delete immediately actionable items, archive stuff you want searchable but don't intend to read soon, and queue up documents to later that you hope to deal with in the future but can't read right this second. You can then use tags and filtered views to manage your custom projects and bespoke workflows, and once you're done, you no longer feel overloaded. You can simply bask in the zen of Inbox 0. While this triage workflow works great for about half of our users, we will be the first to admit it's not right for everyone. For example, if you source most of your new content from feed sources, having this separate inbox will probably feel redundant. Or if you're like me, you may just cringe at the thought of applying words like inbox and workflow to the sacred practice of reading. If you fall into this camp, keep watching. The next option is what we call Shortlist. In this configuration, your locations are Later, Shortlist, and Archive. Newly saved items land in your Later tab, and then from there, you can promote important items you want to keep front and center to Shortlist. You can think of the Shortlist tab as the metaphorical equivalent of your work desk or maybe your nightstand, where you have a spread of currently active books, papers, and documents set out for easy access. For example, I like to keep documents I frequently reference for work inside my shortlist, such as the Reader FAQ, long-form papers, and things I need to read in the near term for a deadline. In this configuration, content overload is reframed because your Later location becomes an anti-library, a never-ending collection of delightful things to read when you're ready. The final and simplest configuration is what we call Classic. In the Classic configuration, your locations are simply Later and Archive. It's just like Instapaper or Pocket, but with all the next generation features of Reader. In this configuration, newly saved items land in your Later tab and then remain there until you read them or decide to push them to Archive for permanent storage and future lookup. It's as simple as that. Alright, so I hope this tutorial helps you find a library configuration that clicks. Just so you know, changing your library configuration is entirely reversible. So, if you're still figuring out what works best for you, I encourage you to play around with each of the configurations I showed you in today's video and see what fits. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment them below, and don't forget to check the video description for additional Reader tutorials. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.